Yeah, I do.
Where were you?
Like, this whole thing has been a surreal dream for me. Like, I was in Ruskin, Florida. I was a teenager, and I hadn't decided I was gonna be a comedian. And I was just with some older people, and we were going in this establishment, and I realized I'm finna get carded, and I'm not old enough to be in here.
Yeah.
And then a guy
Is it like a
walked.
bar?
What if one man, one comedian, knew the darkest secrets of Hollywood's most powerful elite, years before the rest of the world even had a clue? What if that man stood up in front of millions of people and said, "I know things, I have receipts, and all of this is going to come out"? And then, every single thing he predicted actually happened? That man is Katt Williams. And what he did in early 2024 didn't just shake Hollywood, it cracked open one of the biggest scandals in the history of the music industry. Today, we're breaking down the full story, how Katt Williams exposed Diddy, what secrets stayed hidden for years, and how one viral interview changed everything. Stay until the end, because this story gets darker the deeper you go. Before we get into the explosion, let's talk about the man who lit the match. Katt Williams is one of the greatest stand-up comedians of his generation. He's raw, he's fearless, and he has never, not once, been afraid to say what others refuse to say out loud. But here's the thing about Katt Williams that most people underestimate. This man has been in Hollywood since the early 1990s. He has seen things. He has been in rooms that most of us will never even know exist. And over 3 decades in the entertainment industry, he collected information, knowledge, and secrets of several elite figures, which also caused him to be rejected and blackballed by them. Katt himself said it best. He told the world, "Because the people want to know why would he get blackballed. Yeah, because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets." This wasn't a man making things up for attention. This was a man who had been sitting on a time bomb for decades. And in January 2024, he finally lit the fuse. On January 3, 2024, Katt Williams sat down with former NFL star Shannon Sharpe on his podcast, Club Shay Shay. Nobody knew that this interview would become one of the most watched, most talked about conversations in internet history. The interview ran for nearly 3 hours. Katt Williams spoke about his career, his struggles, his rivalries, but then, about halfway through, something shifted. Williams brought up Diddy during the interview as a way to honor Tupac Shakur and express his disdain for those who may have been involved in the rapper's death. He talked about integrity, he talked about the pressure that Hollywood puts on artists to compromise themselves, and then, he said something that made Shannon Sharpe go completely silent. He said that he had been offered $50 million, not once, not twice, but 4 times, and he turned it all down. Why? He revealed that he had declined invitations to Diddy's parties over the years. He said, "Just to protect my integrity. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party, and you gotta tell him no. You gotta tell him no. I did. I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you." Let that sink in. $50 million, 4 times, and he said no. Every single time. Because he knew what those parties meant. He knew what happened behind those closed doors, and he refused to be a part of it, no matter what it cost him. That took courage. Real courage. The kind that most people in Hollywood simply do not have. Now here's where it gets chilling. After dropping that bombshell about Diddy's parties, Katt Williams looked straight into the camera and made a prediction. Not a guess, not a theory, a warning. He declared, "All of these big deviants are catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if it's Diddy or whoever you is, TD Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed, and anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is, the light." At the time, most people laughed it off. The internet made memes. People called him crazy. Commentators said he was just trying to stay relevant. The mainstream media barely covered it. But here's what nobody realized in that moment. Katt Williams wasn't speculating. He wasn't guessing. He knew. He told Shannon Sharpe, "I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it." And within months, every single word he said would be proven right. Fast forward to March 2024. Federal agents from the Department of Homeland Security raided Sean Diddy Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami simultaneously. The raids were part of a federal sex trafficking investigation. Agents seized guns from the home, electronics containing evidence of recorded encounters, and supplies including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Over 1,000 bottles. This wasn't a rumor anymore. This wasn't gossip. Federal agents had walked into Diddy's mansions and walked out with evidence. And then in May 2024, something happened that shocked the entire world. CNN released hotel surveillance footage from 2016. The footage showed Diddy, in a hotel hallway, physically attacking his then-girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, grabbing her, throwing her, kicking her. Combs apologized for the incident, saying his behavior was inexcusable and that he took full responsibility for his actions. But an apology wasn't going to stop what was coming, because the lawsuits had already started piling up, one after another. Victims coming forward, women, men, some of them minors at the time of the alleged abuse. The dam had broken, and the flood was only beginning. September 16, 2024. Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most powerful men in the history of hip-hop, was arrested in the lobby of a Midtown Manhattan hotel by federal agents. Prosecutors alleged that since 2008, Combs had been part of a criminal organization that engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. 3 criminal counts. Federal charges. The full weight of the United States government coming down on a man who had spent decades untouchable. He was denied bail and ordered to remain in a federal detention center in Brooklyn, waiting for trial. The man who once threw parties for presidents, Grammy winners, and A-list celebrities was now behind bars, and the charges painted a picture far darker than anything most people had imagined. Prosecutors said Combs directed these encounters, often recorded them, and distributed controlled substances to the victims to make them obedient and compliant. He used those recordings as collateral, controlling victims by threatening to take away their financial support, their housing, their career opportunities. He monitored their whereabouts. He even dictated their physical appearance. This was not just abuse. This was a system, a calculated, organized, years-long system of control, fear, and silence. After Diddy's arrest, the entire internet turned back to that Club Shay Shay interview. People rewatched it. Clips went viral again. The podcast crossed over 80 million views on YouTube. And Katt Williams gave a follow-up interview to GQ for their Men of the Year issue. And he broke down exactly why he had said what he said. He explained his connection to Tupac. "I love Tupac, and I felt like we were kindred spirits. So if I hear you were responsible for knocking my brother off, I don't care what job I end up in or how things go. If I find a way to get you, that's what I'm about. I just don't like you walking around scot-free." He told GQ, "It's the age of truth. It's not that people haven't been wanting the truth. It's that, for the first time ever, the viciousness to keep these secrets at bay and the ability to keep you from knowing things, right now, doesn't really apply." Think about what he's saying there. The people who had the power to hide these secrets, the gatekeepers, the fixers, the ones who made problems disappear, they are losing their grip. Their influence is fading, and the truth is coming out whether they like it or not. Katt Williams saw that shift happening before anyone else did, and he used his platform to tell the world. When the trial began in 2025, the testimony that shook the world the hardest came from Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former girlfriend of over a decade. She testified about drug-fueled encounters that Combs allegedly referred to as freak-offs. She said he directed all of them, encounters that could last for days, and that she felt forced to participate just to make him happy. She testified that Combs controlled every aspect of her life, that she often did things out of fear, that physical abuse was frequent. Days. These encounters allegedly lasted for days, and the control he allegedly had over her life went far beyond the physical. She described a relationship where fear was the foundation, where leaving felt impossible, where speaking out felt dangerous, and she wasn't alone. More accusers came forward, more voices, more stories that had been buried for years, finally seeing daylight. Here's what makes this story so much more than just about one man.
I hadn't decided I was going to be a comedian, and I was just with some older people, And we were going in this establishment, and I realized I'm finna get carded, and I'm not old enough to be in here.
Yeah.
And then a guy
Is it
walked.
like a bar?
It was.
Yeah.
Ruskin is very small. And so
Katt Williams didn't just predict Diddy's fall. He warned that Diddy was not the only one. He said, all lies will be exposed. It don't matter if you're Diddy or whoever you is. He was talking about a culture inside Hollywood and the music industry where power protects abuse, where fame is used as a shield, where money silences victims, where parties are not just parties, they are traps. And Katt Williams, a man who started at the bottom, who was blackballed, who was laughed at, refused to play along. He turned down $50 million 4 times because he knew the price that came with it. As of right now, April 2026, the Diddy saga is still unfolding. At sentencing in October 2025, the judge imposed a term of just over 4 years in prison, plus a $500,000 fine. His projected release date from federal prison is currently April 15, 2028. His legal team is still fighting. Appeals are ongoing. The story is not fully written yet. But what is written, what cannot be undone, is the fact that one comedian, one man with a microphone and 30 years of receipts, stood up and told the truth when everyone else was silent. So what is the real lesson here? It's not just about Diddy. It's not just about Katt Williams. It's about what happens when people with power believe they are untouchable. It's about what happens when an entire industry looks the other way, for decades. And it's about what happens when one person, just one person, decides that the truth matters more than the money. Katt Williams said it himself. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. He paid for that knowledge with his career, with his reputation, with years of being called crazy, unstable, irrelevant. But he never sold himself out. And when the moment came, he stood in front of the world and told the truth. The age of truth, as he called it, is here, and it's just getting started. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think Katt Williams still hasn't said? We'll see you in the next one.